Now, the rest of the story.
So, I don't know how much everybody wants to see this, but this is the current state of the valley. It's not worth making and trying to get 3 cuttings off of it is my opinion on it anymore. I mean, there's material here. There is. And my reasoning on it at this point is it's the 16th of August, and the timeliness and the actual overall timeline it would take to get this made, and the time it would have to come back where I'd be coming through and cutting again, it just doesn't make any sense. I'd feel like I'd be a fool trying to make it and get a rush job of a 3rd growth out of it, because at best case scenario right now, I'd say I got about 6 weeks. It is mid-August. I got 6 weeks of reasonable growing. I mean, that's giving it till approximately the end of September, which is when I generally like to make this. If I did decide, the way things stand right now, to go through and make this, of those 6 weeks, the first week is gone. So I'm already down to 5 weeks, because it's going to take a week just to get this cut, dried, and hauled out of here, by the time we make it. We had 3 inches of rain up at the home farm, and the ground, oh yeah, it's muddy. The big thing I'm just watching for is bugs. And yes, there is some feeding. That's old feeding. That's been there for a while. If you've seen my armyworm videos in the past, where I had late season armyworms, this is about when they started rolling through. So watching down here for the next 2 to 3 weeks is going to be really important, because the way things currently stand on it is, if I see armyworms rolling in, if I can get another couple weeks of growth out of this, if it's going to keep growing, I mean, this is still very much coming up. If I get to September and I start seeing some feeding by armyworms, it'll be no joke, no messing around, not in a very fun mood. Just roll right through and make it. We'll drop the mowers right down to the ground. We'll take it off as much material as we can get and slam it inside. This is going to be the worst yield I've had down at the valley. I mean, I know that for a fact. The rest of the farm, the bench ground, the neighbor's place is actually coming up with this, which I know sounds terrible. I get that. I mean, different people, different reasons. I'm not interested in arguing that. But this canary grass is actually known for being invasive, and part of the reason why, when in the past 3 or 4 years, we would come down and make first cutting, we always did the bottom first. Number one, because it was the heaviest, it needed the most time to dry. I mean, makes sense, right? Secondly, it's poor man's seed. What do I mean by that is, when this stuff is tall and headed out and it's like over 6 feet tall, when you go through and cut it, it's throwing the seed all over the mowers on the hoods. So then when we go to the rest of the farm, it's actually dropping that canary seed on the rest of the farm, and it is actually starting to take on the neighbor's place in particular. I mean, when I first came down here 3 years ago, there wasn't a whole lot of pressure. I'm going to call it grass pressure, but it is gradually starting to cover more of that field and actually letting it grow and not taking another cutting off of it the rest of the summer. I don't know if it's helping me or not. I'm not a grass genius or a professional. I'm just a stupid farmer. But at least giving it the chance to kind of encroach on the bare areas, or the open areas that have the lesser wanted grass, at least in particularly by me, is in my favor. Because this stuff, I can work with. My cows love it. My hay feeder, my feed bunk that I'm putting in up at Rockville at the home farm will allow me to put in 8 or 9 bales. I think 9 bales it should do fairly comfortably. And I'm still going to have my bale feeders if I choose to use them. I could technically put in, you know, a dozen bales and not have to worry about feeding my cows for a while, and not have to worry about my cows being short on feed. Now again, we got more feeding. Grasshopper, I'm safe to say, because armyworms don't leave this much plant left, and that has not been chewed on for a while. So I'm not seeing much for bug pressure. This is more of an information or a fact finding mission right now. I'm trying to keep a close eye on it down here. And walking through, I think Tyson actually sent me a picture or a video with the grasshoppers he had walking through his stuff, and just watching for armyworm poop. That stuff is pretty obvious actually, because it's these black turds all over the plants, and I'm not seeing anything there. I'm not seeing the grasshoppers jumping through it. I'm hoping, I hate bringing hope into farming, I could see a minimum 150 bales off of my last cutting down here. I'd be almost jumping for joy if I could see about 200 bales. First cutting was only 194, 193. 215 if I include everything I made off that recovered lower ground. But also, we got 3 inches of rain the other night. The low spots, and particularly down on the lower side of the bottom, the water pools there. It's just a natural low spot. Hauling dirt in and filling that up, I mean, that's actually not a bad idea, dude, whoever recommended that. I just don't have the ability to move a whole lot of dirt quickly, and my time is valuable. I don't know, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but I think my time is valuable to the point where between fences and getting the combine out here before long is pretty important. Trying to pick and choose the different jobs I'm trying to do. I am really considering coming down and doing a foliar on the works again. Everybody's got their own opinions about it, whether or not it's worth it or not, and doing another foliar pass really isn't going to cost me a heck of a whole lot. I could probably do it for across the whole farm for a few $100, and the radiate isn't that expensive, and I may actually go through and put it down at a heavier rate. I only did, was it 15 or 20 gallons when I did my last pass of foliar, and I just don't feel like I'm out much by coming down and trying to give this a kick in the rear end to keep growing. And that's kind of where I'm at. The field here, this field and the pasture field, big part of me, big part of me, I just want to come down and tear it up. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of looking at it. It's got the clover from previous attempts to have it seeded down. I tried no-tilling in grass in the bare spots. That didn't work because we got dry, and the seeds just ultimately didn't do anything. I would really like to come down at least on the 7 acres. I don't know if I'm going to try it this fall yet, if I'm just going to get stubborn and stupid and actually come down after my last cutting. I don't think that's going to work though. It probably won't. To actually come and at least tear up that 7 acres and then just no oats and just turn the field brown with the disc. I'm not going to chisel it, but just after make the cut, make the hay off, disc it good, harrow it, and then just direct seed alfalfa into the bare dirt. I mean, kill off anything that would potentially knock it back or hold it off, and see what that does. Rather than do that after third cutting, it might be in my best interest to do that after first cut next year, which was my intentions this year, but it quit raining. So This is what the valley looks like. It's beautiful, deep green looking grass. It's going to yield something. The reason why I'm not going and cutting it right now is because by the time I do everything and I dump the goodies back on it, future fertilizer applications, fertilizers come down, yes, but I'm probably going to come through and put fertilizer a bit heavier than I've been doing, because I found out that I was actually shorting it. Here I thought I was actually putting a lot down, and I was told that 30 gallons to the acre is close to where I need to be on it versus the 20. I thought 20 was a lot, but at least if I just do the bottom itself, this is my money maker. This is bringing me my most return. I could justify doing it if that means the regrowth is going to kick up and go. But dry fertilizer on the rest of the farm for sure next year. So we'll see. But thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. I mean, I'm still farming and everything. I mean, I haven't posted in a while. It's just the fences and stuff like that. We haven't had to work on machinery too much here lately, which has been nice. But I'll talk to you guys later.